What's up, guys? Brett Okamoto from ESPN, joined by UFC middleweight. I think you can call him a title contender, Reinier de Ridder, who just picked up his fourth victory in the UFC in a very short amount of time. This year, actually, this calendar year, you've already got four victories. Reinier, this one feel pretty good, beating a former champion in Robert Whittaker, and now you're going to find yourself in that probably top five of the UFC rankings.
Yeah, feels very good. It's nice to be home after all that work. Um, but yeah, I'm a happy man.
You said I saw you in another interview say that you've been so busy, obviously, four fights in about a half a year, five fights in a full year if you go back to July of 2024.
Yeah.
And you said so far your body is holding up. There's got to be a limit at some point, man. Cutting weight as frequently as you are and now a five-round fight, are you feeling a little bit more run down now after a five-round fight with a former champion? Are you starting to feel the effects of this pace?
Yeah, maybe I took a few too many punches to the face as well in this fight. So I felt like yesterday, but I'm pretty good already. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how I recover.
So you're getting all these victories, which obviously the win's got to make the body feel a lot better than where you know coming up short in some of these fights. The win makes it a lot sweeter. You've had the four fights in the UFC, and then the fifth fight was a year ago in July, actually in the Middle East. And I saw you describe that fight as like you weren't really sure what was going on with your career, that it was like an opportunity, a chance that was sort of given to you from that region, and your manager Ali Abdelaziz finding that opportunity. Like, can you take me back to a year ago? Like, I mean, we know where you are now. I mean, top five and right there in the title picture. Where were you a year ago when you took that fight at UAE Warriors?
Yeah, so I was still, according to one championship, on a contract with them. They had just parked me for over a year, then gave me the rematch with Melikin, and then parked me again for a long period of time. And I was just in a position of not knowing if I was ever going to fight again for one championship. In my mind, I was already free because they weren't offering me fights at all, and I had only signed one contract way back in the day. Well, the peculiars are not that important, but me and Ali worked out this plan of fighting for UA Warriors. But we knew they were going to come with the lawyers and they were going to come and sue us. And that happened the moment it got announced. And they not only sued me, but they sued UA Warriors and also the president, Fuad Darwish, personally at that moment. And I think 9 out of 10 of presidents of local organizations, smaller organizations, would have folded at that moment. They would have said, "This is not worth it. Go look for another place to fight." But they did not. They said, "We're going to support you. Whatever happens, we'll figure it out together." Yeah, that really made me able to take this opportunity to get loose from one championship, to leave them and to fight for another organization, and that led to me fighting for the UFC this entire crazy year, and then coming back exactly a year later in Abu Dhabi in my first UFC main event is all thanks to that moment 1 year ago. So yeah, crazy. It was a crazy full circle moment this weekend.
Yeah, and I kind of knew a little bit of those details, but I hadn't really dug into them. And so when you like, did you want to fight in Abu Dhabi, or did it just sort of happen that way? Like because, to get that full circle moment, was that something that you wanted, sort of to have it kind of serendipitous like that?
No, I didn't think of it at all. But then after the Bo fight, they called me 2 days later, and they said, "Do you want to fight in Abu Dhabi, main event, Robert Whittaker?" And I said, "Yes, yes, and yes, let's go." And then it was exactly to the day. It was a year ago that fight for UE Warriors. So it's
Yeah.
just yeah, you cannot imagine it like that. You can't write a script like that. So very cool.
It is. It's crazy to like look back. I mean, your last fight in one didn't go your way. The fight ended with you not even wanting to get up off the ground to continue on in that fight. Where were you? Like just mentally and like were you down? Or were you like were you contemplating the end of your career? Like there, you were in an organization that you weren't getting fights very frequently. Like like it's so easy now, hopefully, to talk about it because things are going so well. Were you pretty
Yeah.
low, or were you getting through that time pretty well?
Well, personal life has always been great. I've always had a lovely wife, my kids. I have a gym here. That has always been amazing. But I've been very, very frustrated with one for the last couple of years. In the beginning, I got a lot of opportunities with them, and they had a few very good ideas. Remember, with the knees to a grounded opponent, they were trying to stop weight cutting. They had a lot of cool stuff going, but they were supposed to do drug testing and stuff. But that kind of fell off more and more, and I was just fighting juice head after juice head,
Mm.
the one bigger than the other, um, begging to get fights, eventually trying to um, beat heavyweights because I got so arrogant that I thought I would be able to fight two weight classes above my own. Um, and it wasn't in my cards. And then at that time, everything started to fall apart in one championship as well. There were no more events. There were no more new people coming in. There was nobody to fight except for people in higher weight classes. So just everything went to. I lost because I wasn't putting in the work like I used to. I got a little bit too arrogant, and I lost those two fights with Melikin. Um, and I was just at a point where I was thinking, is this it for my career? Because they weren't giving me any more fights. I didn't see any future left in one championship. I had been begging them to let me go for at least a year and a half because they weren't going to give me any fights, and they wouldn't. So I was just in a point where I was like, uh, maybe it's time to call this quits, or what do I do now? And then I started talking to Ali, and he said, "This is the way we're going to solve this." And it was pretty hard to follow it all, to trust him and to trust the people around him because there was a lot of threats above our heads. We had just sold our house.
Mhm.
The lawyers were telling us, if you have any money, get it onto a different account because they're coming for you on all the levels. And it all culminated
Culminated.
into 30 minutes before the fight, um, that I had to make the decision to walk out and fight with all the legal issues following, or I could say I quit. I won't take the fight, and I would fall to one championship.
Mm.
And that was definitely a thought at that moment to let go, and then we'll figure it out with the lawyers and then come back. But I'm very happy that we Ali pushed me, that I had Fuad Darwis, the guys there at UAE Warriors behind me, and I was able to flip the switch and say, "It, let's see what happens," and step into the cage. And fortunately, I was able to finish the guy there, and that really led to this beautiful year that I've had so far.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy that you were thinking about maybe this is not the right decision, and then you look at everything that's happened over the last 12 months. Like, did you feel like I get in the UFC, this is what's going to happen? Like I'm gonna know the opportunity that I have, and like something like this is going to happen, or would even this have exceeded your expectations if I would have told you this is what's going to happen in 2025?
Well, during one championship, I was always, because it was always hard to get an opponent, and it was hard to get the next guy. I was always looking forward. I was always like, even if I'd have a fight scheduled, I would be looking ahead. What if after this fight there will be nobody there? And I was always frustrated, and I really made the conscious decision to not do that anymore, to not be living in the future as much anymore. Once I joined the UFC, so I really focused on just going from day to day, giving it my all in training, and grinding harder than I've ever had. And in my mind, the results would come, and they kind of have so far this year. But that
Yeah.
is one thing I've really tried to change since I signed with the UFC, not to be stuck in the future as much.
Yeah. Well, obviously I listened to your interviews right after the fight with Robert, but now it's been a few days. Have you had a chance to go back and rewatch the whole thing?
Nah, I didn't dare yet. I need some time. I need some time. Of course, it didn't really. I'm very happy with how the fight happened. That I had to dig deep and I had to work as hard as I have. But it didn't go the way I wanted it. Of course, I wanted to just take him down, choke him out, and or finish him at least. And in my mind, it was trending that way because at the end of the second, I was hitting him with some good stuff. And he came out in the third, and then I heard him again. And I thought, I got you. And then I rushed in, and he clipped me with the right hand.
Yeah.
And I threw it away there. So, well, all in all, I'm very happy with how the fight went, but I need to get some courage together to watch it back. So hopefully I can in the next few days.
Well, I mean, yeah, you never want to get dropped in a fight, right?
No, definitely.
But the fact that it was your fourth fight in that amount of time, cutting weight that many times, and then you go into championship rounds against a guy of Robert's caliber to go in and win those championship rounds, that has got to feel really good, right? I mean, that almost has to feel a little bit better, I would think, than a first round submission, or is the first round submission you just can't top it?
Nah, first round submission would be better. Just go home, no cuts, no nothing hurts. Would be better, but this was a nice second place.
Do you think, I was watching your interview with Demetrius Johnson before the fight. I really
Yeah,
enjoyed like listening to you guys going back and forth, and you were talking about all your work that you do in the clinch. And it just
yeah.
seems to me like maybe this is going to be a difference maker for you because the way you were talking about it to Demetrius is that not a lot of people like to spend time there. Like they don't work on it. It's kind of foreign to them. And we've kind of seen it now, even against a guy like high level like Whittaker, and then against a guy who's very talented. He still has some growing to do, but Bo Nickel, like that has been a big difference maker for you, are these knees. Do you feel like even at the highest of levels that because of this is something that just a lot of people don't spend a ton of time training, that this can kind of be your ace, these knees that we're seeing?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. Not only the knees, there's a lot of more intricacies there in the clinch. But yeah, I think this is an important part of my game. And there's just areas in martial arts that are still there to be exploited. We saw it in grappling, which is a beautiful example. Is a couple of years ago that nobody did any leg locks, and then the Den Air guys came along and started leg locking everybody just because they spent more time there. And it is our sport is it's very hard to get to the top, but there's a few simple things you can just do to get better, and it's get into that position and work from there, and just spend more time there than somebody else, and you'll be better there. It's just that simple.
You seem like a film guy. Like whenever I listen to you do interviews, you always talk about like we look at film, we've seen things to exploit. I mean, of course, I've got to ask, and this is the obvious one: the champion, Dricus Du Plessis. Without giving too much away, of course, what have you seen in watching his film? And also, he's got like now this notorious reputation of being kind of an ugly fighter. I would love to get your take on that.
If there's one guy who's hard to study, it's him, man. He doesn't do two things twice. He doesn't do the same thing twice. He's so so awkward, so unpredictable. Yeah, I need more time studying him. He does a lot of awkward stuff, and I sparred him a couple of years ago at Kill Cliff. And what really stands out in my mind is the way he kicks. His kicks come from such a weird angle, with the knees slightly in, and it was very hard for me to judge where it was going to go, if it's going to be a middle, high, or low kick. So yeah, and it's going to be very hard to find a guy to emulate him as well, right? There's nobody else who moves like that.
Hmm.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'll need some more time to study him.
When you guys went together at Kill Cliff, how familiar were you of him? Were you thinking at that point, like maybe, depending on where my career goes, I could find my way into the UFC? Like what were like sort of the circumstances around that sparring?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was always on my mind. Was always thinking he was just getting into the UFC, I think, first few fights,
Hmm.
and we had both fought at EFC. He was a champion in EFC in South Africa back in the day, and then my first fight out of Europe was in South Africa there at that promotion. We didn't get a chance to fight there because he was headed out. He went to KSW at the time, and I went to one shortly after. But I That was something always going on in my mind while I was fighting in one. I want to fight the best guys in the world one day. So it was in the back of my mind, and we had some nice rounds over there at Killcliff.
Yeah. But did you feel like it got competitive at all? I mean, how,
Yeah,
what was the vibe like when you guys were in there together?
no, pretty friendly, pretty friendly. Nobody got hurt. No.
Yeah. In your opinion, how does he get away with it? How does he get away with doing all of this stuff that is not by the book? What is allowing this to happen?
Well, one thing that he does very well is, and he did that in his Whittaker fight. Some of the stuff he does is just very basic. Like when a guy comes in with combinations, he just puts his hands up, and there's not a lot of fighters who do that very well. It's
Hmm.
stupid, but he just does it very well. He just puts his hand on his head, his elbows are in, and he's safe while he's stumbling back awkwardly, but he is safe. So
Hmm.
there is a couple basic stuff that he does very well, and the cool thing is he can keep going, keep doing that stuff nowadays in three, four, and five as well.
On the other side of that title fight, of course, this next month is Hamzat. And I know you've spoken about him before, but um, in a way, I would almost, if I was in your shoes, I would want it to be Hamzat in a weird way, just because the guy has done things so uniquely that if he goes and wins the belt, there's just going to be a lot of attention on him. Is that kind of, do you feel that? Like, do you feel like man, if I hope this guy just keeps being a boogeyman because then there's so much attention will be on him, or do you care one way or another?
I don't really care too much, but he would be like an easier guy to prepare for. Not that he is an easier fight, but is more of a typical style. I can bring a couple of Dagestanis and a couple Chechens in who wrestle pretty similar to Hamza.
Hmm.
He boxes pretty cleanly, like boxing style. So yeah, it's not that is not that spectacular. It's spectacular. It's not that special in a sense that it's not as weird as Dricus is.
Hmm.
So it'll be harder to prepare for him, but he might, if he wins, he might be the bigger name. Um, but in my mind, I'm fighting both those guys in the next 6 to 9 months anyway.
Yeah, yeah, I hope so, man. And this division is so interesting. Paulo Costa, like there was a fake tweet that came out that like you guys were going back and forth. It was fake, but obviously he did tweet and you did mention you did respond to it a little bit on Fight Night. Is when you say I see myself fighting Hamzat, I see myself fighting Du Plessis. Do you see yourself fighting Paulo Costa at any time?
I think he needs a couple wins, right?
Mm.
This was his first win in a while, I guess, the last one,
A little
or
bit, yeah.
maybe the Rockhold fight.
Hmm.
He won that as well.
Hmm.
Um, and he does well against southpaws. I give him that because in the last fight he did pretty good. Um, but it's not really one that I'm looking for too much right now.
Yeah.
Though the trash talk would be funny. It'd be funny to do some press do it,
Yeah.
but maybe down the line. But for now, my guy Gregory Rodriguez would really like to whoop his
Mhm.
ass.
Yeah.
So
No,
I'll leave it to him for now.
another Kill Cliff guy. Last thing
Yeah,
I'll ask you is just, like I mentioned, the division is really fun right now. It's
yeah.
it's it's seeing a renaissance. It's seeing like some new blood. It's seeing some new names come in here at the very, very top. If you had to guess which one of these top guys, like and you got Imavov in there, obviously you got Bohayo in there. If you're gonna have a rival over the next 3, 4 years, two guys that are just like going back and forth and distinguish themselves at the very top, which of these guys do you think it is? Is it the current champ, Du Plessis? Is it Shemaev? Is it one of those other guys? If we see some type of awesome middleweight rivalry with yourself included, which of those guys do you think is the most likely?
I it's hard for me to see Hamza like active. I don't know what do you think, but it's just he doesn't fight that much. Um, Maybe Dricus, I can really see that because he's active, he's ready. I think he has a lot of years still to go. But Imavov is another one, man. The guy is so complete. He doesn't really seem to be special somewhere. But he's so complete. Look at the way he knocked out Adesanya just out of nowhere in the last fight. Um, he's very young still, so I think would be between Dricus and Imavov, or maybe even both of them.
Yeah. I appreciate the time, man. I'll let you go. You've been one of the most exciting things about the sport this year. So thank you very much for the time and get some rest. Enjoy some beach time with your kids, like you said you wanted. And then yeah, we'll see what's next after this title fight in August.
Yeah, we'll definitely do, man. Thank you very much.